Boss, you ain't lived till you got head from a vampire.
Worst nostalgia trip ever taken. Worst nostalgia trip ever taken.
Of course, you're on Guam. Some of those Marines are probably over there going, huh, that's the weirdest looking camo I've ever seen.
No, they're too busy trying to find the good flavor crayons. I'm Jokey Pants. Welcome back to Jokey Pants Has Bad Taste. I live with an army boy, all right? I hear nothing but Marine jokes. Everyone get off my back. So today we have honestly more of a special episode. I had put out a poll because I was trying to planning out what movies we were gonna do. We were gonna come in the order and whatnot.
Hi there. We'd just like to let you know that this show is sponsored by W Energy. W Energy, the sugarless, all natural energy drink that you should be going and buying and using code Oddcast to help save yourself 10% off your next order. So go on over to W.com and use that code. Now on with the show.
I don't know what's wrong with you all, but y'all voted for this movie. Can I just ask everyone at home, why this movie? You could have even commented
You're all
something
a sick
different.
bunch of that's all I'm saying. See, and unlike him, I'd seen it before, so I knew what was happening. I was like, no.
So, back on season 1 of this show, which, fun fact for all of you, if you're wondering why I say seasons, I'm actually currently going through all the videos, and I'm putting everything into the seasons that they should be, so you can just find playlists on the channel with just each season, and you can see what videos are in it. So have fun with that. But, for season 1, I had covered John Carpenter's Vampires, because I really enjoy that movie. I genuinely really enjoy that movie. It was a childhood memory for me. Grandpa Digi, anytime it was on, was always, we need to watch this. This is a great vampire movie, and I was always on board, and I still enjoy it. I did not know they made a sequel. Boy, oh boy. Then I found
ignorance was bliss. I'm telling you.
Then I found out the reason I had never seen it, it was direct to video, and boy was it not good. And boy, it did not disappoint in just not being a good sequel movie. It has many issues, but in general, my thought with Vampires, Los Muertos, if it was not a sequel to a better movie, this would have been a forgettable B movie. The problem here is that it's a sequel to a much better movie that it barely acknowledges even exists, and it pissed me off so much watching this.
They did a tie-in right at the beginning. I think the tie-in was like one sentence, but it was a tie-in.
Oh, I have the note about that, because, that. So yeah, Los Muertos.
We can't get a good actor, so let's get John Bon Jovi,
So this movie came out in 2002. So it was 4 years after the fact that someone was like, 4 years, because the first movie came out in 98. So they waited a couple years, but then apparently nobody wanted to do anything with it. So the director we have was the one who did this movie, and
I'm telling you, I told you to be nice to Tommy Lee, okay? I'm just telling you.
I will be nice to Tommy Lee here because he has a lot of things in his credits that I do enjoy, and I was very surprised he made this movie, seeing some
so
of
was
the
I.
other things he's done.
I want you to notice this is the second to last movie he did. The last movie he did, and here's my tie-in, was called The Fields, and it was because he was working with B. Harrison Smith, who I've interviewed 3 times now. And The Fields is based on something that really happened in Harrison's life, in his life. And if you like old B movies, I always tell people, and you've probably seen it on my feed, that I'm always pushing Harrison stuff, the books he writes, the movies he's done. He's that good. Okay, he's not a big flashy name guy, but every movie he does is well done. I know this is going to sound like an ad for Harrison. It is, but I'm telling you, I mean, but he also did a book, aside from having, because he brings a lot of the old 80s guys into his movies, like Tommy Lee and what's her name, Danielle Harris, and all that stuff for all the movies he's done. And he's also did a book with Tommy Lee Wallace for Halloween 3, with the Where is Michael Myers Halloween movie. And so that's my 6th degree of separation from old Tommy Lee over there. Yeah, but like you said, he's actually done some decent stuff. This was not it.
Yes. So, looking into this director, as I've said many times, I didn't really pay attention to any of that shit growing up. It wasn't until recent years that I ever paid attention to directors, and that was because I started to pay more attention of like people who I liked. I made sure to know if they were making something.
Right.
Yada, yada. Looking into this movie, the director here is Tommy Lee Wallace, and this man's history blew my mind. So I'm just gonna start at the beginning for this man, which he got his start essentially by all means being a under the wing protege of John Carpenter, as he helped John in his first ever movie he made, and then continued to help him make all of his movies, being a set director, being an art director, being an editor. And I was like, this man just worked with John his entire career. Holy shit.
Yeah. And one of his on IMDb it shows he was uncredited, but he was one of the many Michael Myers to wear the mask in the first movie.
Yeah.
We need a body. Okay, well, go ahead. Yo, put the mask on, put the suit on. Let's go.
See, that makes a lot of sense. Because the first thing he did was John Carpenter's movie Dark Star, and then Halloween. And on Halloween, he is credited as the art director and helped make a lot of the props. So him being in a mask makes a lot of sense, because he was one of the people that helped set all that up for him. So
I wonder if he's the guy who said, "Hey, let's take that William Shatner mask and cut the eyes out and whiten the skin."
I wonder too. He was also he's also credited for the editing of Halloween, Dark Star, The Fog, and also an Assault on Precinct 13.
Which is actually a really good movie, underrated movie, but very good.
Very much so. So seeing that, I was like, man, so he's like edited and helped in a lot of like really good movies here. Like, holy cow.
Then you look at this one and you go, he knows how to edit. What the hell happened?
That's the thing. This movie's so bad. And I'm like, why is this so bad? There's literally no reason, because you wrote and directed it. And I'm looking at the other things you did that with, and I'm like, everything else is so much better.
I want you to notice too, because I noticed it too. This was in that time when John Carpenter was producing a lot of stuff, and most of it was good, but there were a few clunkers, and this was one of those. But most of John Carpenter presents stuff. Most of them were like underwritten by him. Okay, go ahead. And there's other guys that have done stuff like that too. But yeah, this one,
this movie did not. Case in point, and I'm gonna end up bringing this up on my main podcast, on an Oddcast later this week, because there are some ties for things he did that we've talked about many times on that show, and it again blew my mind having the connections to so much shit with this man. For example, one of his written and directed, he did the It miniseries in 1990, and I was like, excuse me? He did what? He also did...
Considered one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever. Yeah.
Speaking of John Carpenter, once again, as good Paul here mentioned, he helped write a book for Halloween 3, and there would be a good reason for that, as the first movie he ever wrote and directed was Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Which me and Anthony have defended many times. Is like, yes, is it a bad Halloween movie in that franchise? Yes, because it doesn't have Michael Myers and it throws you through a loop. But if you take Halloween off that name, it's actually a really unique little horror movie with what it did do.
Okay, so can I give a little background? Halloween. Can I give a little bit of background on that? Because for anybody who's watching who may not know, the idea with the original Halloween was it was not going to be an ongoing story. It was going to be an anthology set. So the fact to do with Michael Myers had nothing to do with the fact that, okay, now we're going to do something different. The idea was we're going to tell a different story on Halloween night or about Halloween for every ensuing movie. So then we get, Season of the Witch. Totally different story, but like the book even said, because now remember, I'm of the right age that when it came out, I was like, ooh, cool, another Halloween. And I was one of the ones going, where the hell is Michael Myers? What is this crap? I will say that the little shitty kid deserved what he got. So did his parents. And if you haven't seen the movie, at that point, I was rooting for the bad guys. Also, just to draw it there, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch takes a lot of its tone and its story from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
And especially the way the movie ends. Very much an Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
100%.
Yeah. And that's all Harris and I talked about that. And he said that's all in the book as well. So if you really want to know about that movie, check out the book by B. Harrison Smith, and you can find it on Amazon.
I'm gonna have to do that.
But yeah,
I enjoyed that movie. I'm curious.
I up until about 3 years ago, I hated that movie. I couldn't, but then, like you just said, I had to get it. I had to remove it from the canon that is Halloween.
Yeah.
And even then, I've removed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
The whole Thorn thing and all that crap. Yeah, it's all gone. As far as before they did the recent ones, it was Halloween 1, 2, H2O. That was it.
Wow. Okay.
Because those kind of followed the same characters and the same basic storyline. You didn't get really weird shit. But then again, you're gonna hate me for this. I like Halloween ends. I like Halloween kills, and Halloween ends. And the reason I like Halloween ends because it showed the wider picture of how the mythos of Michael affected Haddonfield more than Michael himself. It was more about that side of the story.
The point. I get where you come from out there. Agree to disagree about that movie, but I get where you. I did like that.
And the fact that Lori kind of made herself the victim all the time. He was never after Lori. Lori just kind of kept getting in the way, going, there's Michael. Oh, if you leave me alone, I won't hurt you. We're done with that,
So yeah, he started there. He also did. It has here that he had 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone in the '80s revival that he did, which I have written down here. He did Dreams for Sale, Lost Little Boy, and The Leprechaun Artist were all the ones that he
very cool.
had handed.
Those are all actually very well done episodes. Yeah.
Okay, see, I couldn't remember. Looking at the names, I couldn't remember for the life of me. I have not watched that series probably since I was a kid. It's one that for whatever
And remember,
reason
I believe all three of those were remakes of original stories that Rod Serling told in the 50s and 60s. So.
Yes. And he also did an episode of Baywatch for whatever reason. He did an episode called Cruise Ship. No idea why.
Because they said, you want to do Baywatch? Pamela Anderson's on it. And he said, okay. I know nothing about Baywatching or whatever, but I'll watch Pamela, you know?
Real quick, when we mentioned the thing about the Halloween was supposed to be different things every time.
Right.
There was another fact I had heard forever ago now. But apparently, from what I had heard in the Hollywood sense, is that Black Christmas was supposed to be in that line, but because they weren't going to do that, that became its own thing. But in the grander scheme, it was supposed to be Halloween, and then Halloween 2 became a thing because Halloween was big. But Black Christmas was supposed to be like the next thing, because they were like, we could play with holidays. But everyone liked Michael Myers, so that ended up just getting shoved off to its own thing.
I'd never heard that. That's an interesting way to go about it, though.
Yeah. Apparently, that was supposed to be like a thing they wanted to do was plays on holidays, and they didn't think Mike Myers was going to be the hit that he was for that. So it like ruined.
Hey, we didn't get a good Thanksgiving movie until a couple of years ago.
Yes,
Thanksgiving, which is an awesome movie, by the way. That whole opening sequence is wild, but you know.
Don't know how I feel that Eli's making a sequel to that. That's where I'm like, I don't know if I need a sequel to Thanksgiving. I hope he could make it as good, but I just don't know if I need it.
Yeah, Eli's kind of hit and miss with his own sequels on his own stuff. He really is.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on.
We could do a whole series on Eli Roth though, because I'm a big Eli Roth fan.
There's no fucking reason to remake Cabin Fever and make it so fucking bad. I absolutely hated the Cabin Fever remakes. I was like, you made the same movie, but you somehow made it worse. It's your own movie. How do you do this?
Well, it's the same because that's when you start getting into this is really the director's vision. Remember, that's what the new versions of Star Wars were for George Lucas. This is really what I had in mind back then, but I couldn't do it. Okay, well, you shouldn't have done it now either.
And my last note on Tommy Lee Wallace, that also I was like, really? That's a weird one. He was a unit director and helped do things on Big Trouble in Little China. He was just like a crew member for that. And I was like, what is this man's credits?
It honestly just sounds like he's one of John Carpenter's go-to guys. Hey, I'm making a movie.
Really
I could use your help. I need a body. Do you want a job? And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of the people I've spoken to, that's how they got into this stuff. Is they have a set group of people that they like to work with. Hey, are you busy? I'm making a movie. I need a set director. And we do know he knows what he's doing when he does it well.
Correct. Really overall, I would tell all of you at home, as far as Tommy Lee Wallace goes, this movie is really the only thing in anything he had a hand in that is an exception of like, this was a bad movie. Go back to the other things he did. He's really good at what he does. I don't know what happened to him here. I don't know what he was thinking writing this, because everything else he did, really decent movies. This is the only one where I don't know what happened to him. Like, he really dropped the ball.
I have so many questions about this movie. If I ever get the chance to talk to Tommy, it's going to be like, dude, we got to talk about this.
I would love to. Just, sir.
And I'm assuming the phrase "there were drugs involved" is going to come out of his mouth at some point.
Kids don't do drugs, but I would hope that that's the excuse, because otherwise,
or a lot of alcohol or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Was this your Halloween 2? Was this your Halloween 2? Is that what we got here? It's like, oh boy. Now, the cast of this movie, good old Vampires Los Muertos, this also blew my mind because there are actors and actresses in here that did other things that I knew them from that are really good. Once again, this is not good. The only one I don't care about.
I was going to say there's one particular one that I'm not going to name him yet because I know you will, that has come a long way from in this movie. I mean, big time. You know.
So, I want to clarify to everyone at home, the only person in this cast that I just don't give any shit that he's in this movie is John Bon Jovi, because he's the main character. I don't care, because, like, I'm sorry, Mr. Jovi, you're bad at acting. You're not good. I don't like the way you did anything in this movie.
Okay, and I got to ask you, the haircut they gave him, didn't that thing look like a hairpiece most of the time? Seriously.
He looked like a guy cosplaying as Walker, Texas Ranger, with just more flair. And even every time he's on screen, he's trying to do that kind of bravado. And it's like, that you're just not good at it. You're not selling to me that I'm a badass and I'm gonna hunt vampires. Like, no,
I think
anyone else.
I think they were trying to make him like James Woods in the first movie too.
Too hard.
And as much as I'm not a James Woods fan, I think he's a C actor at best.
I'm not gonna argue that one. One movie.
I just gotta say, if you go back and look at the stuff he did, like this one, or he was also in another one of my favorites, Any Given Sunday, which was an Oliver Stone piece about football. He never plays a different character. He's always the same type of douchebag. So basically, he's not acting. That is James Woods. Okay, that's
So,
but yeah, they were trying hard to kind of make him look and sound and act like James Woods did in the first movie, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, it fails. It's you're trying too hard to be against type, and it's just not good. Darius McCary, hopefully I said that right. I don't know. I'm bad with last names. I know the Mick because my best friend here has the MCC for his name, so I get that. But some of you may know him as Eddie Winslow, the oldest son from Family Matters. Or if you're my good friend Anthony, my co-host of What an Oddcast, you know him as Jazz in the Michael Bay Transformers movies. And I went, what? What do you mean he's credited for Transformers? And I had to dig of who the fuck was he in there? He's Jazz. And I was like, what? So that's one person where they have good credits even before this movie of they're an established.
Not much after though. Not much after really, if you think about it. But yeah.
Also in this cast, everyone, or at least most people will know this person. Diego Luna, who everyone's gonna know from the series Andor or from Rogue One. Why is that? That is because this is Cassius Andor himself, but he's 16 years old. But it blew my mind he's in this movie. Came a
Hey, you got to start
way.
somewhere. And you got to realize back then, if you were, hey, I'm going to be in a movie that's attached to John Carpenter, who wouldn't jump on that, you know?
True. And the other two the two actresses in this movie, I get why Tommy pulled them for this movie, because they had done vampire movies in the 90s.
I was going to say they were playing the type. They were
Natasha Grayson Wagner, who was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer in 1992, not the series, the movie.
Yeah, the good one. I mean,
I haven't seen the movie in a while, so I had to try to jog my memory what character she
Christy
was.
Swanson and Pee Wee Herman. How could and Donald Sutherland? How could you go wrong? Okay, it's a cheese fest, but it's a fun cheese fest. Okay,
It is. But she's like she's one of Buffy's friends in that movie. She's also one of the victims in the movie Urban Legend that came out a few years after that, and again 4 years before this movie. She was also at a movie that I've never seen that I know people hold up on a pedestal as like one of their like go-to movies or favorite movie, whatever. She was in High Fidelity as Carolyn Fortis. I don't know the character, don't know the movie. I know their High Fidelity has a fan base. I just have never watched it.
It got played a lot on cable for a while. It got played a whole lot on cable for a while.
Yes, it did. Our main vampire is Arlie, I assume Jover, because it's a J, Jover. I recognized her face immediately, folks, when I pulled her up. And not for a good reason, because it was for a movie I watched on Thanksgiving with Sergeant Redacted, because he didn't know anything about the movie. I hadn't heard anything about it, and we're like, whatever, we'll rent it and watch this for Thanksgiving, and it was bad. She's the main villain, the... what the fuck do I even call that? The Crusader or whatever the hell for the church in Into the Badlands that came out this year, which was one of the worst fucking movies I have ever watched.
Oh, I haven't watched the movie.
bad.
There's a series by that same name that is actually a decent series, but
The series, completely different. Whatever the hell that movie was. I want to say, let me real quick, folks. If you have not seen Into the Badlands, there's a scene in that movie where me and Sergeant Redacted went, that makes no fucking sense. It has Dave Bautista and Mila Jovovich, and that's like your main characters. Dave Bautista is playing like a bounty hunter dude. Mila is a witch in this whatever the hell Badlands thing. But she's sent out to go kill a werewolf to get its skin for the queen or whatever the hell, because she has like a plan. The movie reveal, I'm going to spoil it because the movie's not fucking worth watching. The big reveal is that Dave Bautista has been taking her to the spot where he knows this thing is at, and then, oh, he is the werewolf. But fun fact, it is the dumbest fucking werewolf shit. He bleeds silver because she, like, sews in a silver medallion, and when he transformed, he just, like, bleeds silver, and we went, if silver hurts him, how, why, what is this, what the fuck is going on right now?
you know, with the exception of what Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever he was in, he hasn't done a good movie where he's the star. He has not.
I don't know, because me and Maverick didn't mind Knock on the Cabin, or Knock at the Cabin?
Oh, no, the Knock at the Door. No, that's the other. That was the other one. I did not like that one at all. I thought that was such a bad
We didn't
movie.
mind it.
It was such a-
But Into the Badlands terrible. But she's like the main villain for the like Crucible Church shit going on. But the one that I knew her more as, she had already played a vampire in '98. Again, 98 seems to be the year for like everybody that was in this movie. She was in Blade, and you may be asking, who was she in Blade? Well, that's a fun little thing. She was Mercury, or AKA the lead female vampire in Blade, Frost's girlfriend. And I went, so she got casted for the lead vampire because she's already done a lead vampire. That's what I'm gathering here. And I mean, I'd let her bite me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There's a scene in this movie where I went, yeah, no, she'd get me that way too. Yeah, no, yeah, I get it. It's dumb as hell, but like, nah, I get it. Shit, yeah, no, I get it. So, going into this fucking movie. So this movie opens with black screen, but then a road, and a flashing yellow light, and it makes absolutely no sense why this is the opening.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself as I'm watching it, going, why? What's this have to do with anything? I am.
It has nothing to do with anything. Glad you brought it up, Paul. It has nothing to do with anything. It flashes the words, "Welcome to Mexico. Be careful." And then it has Spanish. Now, do I speak Spanish? I took Spanish in high school. Was I good at it? Hell no. I'm too dumb for languages.
It said it was a greeting, hello, and then I don't remember what else was there. Yeah, I don't remember the other one. But
I'm just, my brain does not do learning languages well. I don't know why. I've tried learning different things. I never do well. But anyway, I translated it. It says the same fucking thing over again. They didn't add anything different. It's not like the Spanish had a different... No, it's the same exact thing again. Welcome to Mexico, be careful. And I went, why? There's no other Spanish in this movie. Nobody does any Spanish throughout this movie, like, even though they're in Mexico. So why do we have a Spanish thing on a credit open? Why?
Yeah,
Is it
just to let you know
us?
that they're in Mexico, apparently, because, you know.
It's so dumb.
Which the first vampire movie also took place in Mexico, I believe. So if you're a vampire, you want to get left alone 90% of the time, go to Mexico, apparently.
See, I think the first movie starts in Texas, and then they end. Yeah, they like start on like the end of Texas,
right?
And then they hop the border to end the movie, and then this movie's just like all Mexico, and I'm like, okay. And there's also some things said in this movie that, in the context of the first movie, don't make any fucking sense.
No, and some things that some questions he has that, well, if it's the same group of people and they have all this information, he would know this. Why is he acting like this is weird that she can sense where they're at? Because, hey, we know that from the first movie, you know.
They
well, we did. They didn't, apparently, but
they have some throwaway lines in here where I'm just like, why did you make a sequel to something you're just gonna blatantly not acknowledge or ignore? So then you may be saying, okay, so we have a flashing yellow light for whatever stupid reason. Does the road take you somewhere? No, it actually cuts to a black screen that tells you the production company, which then immediately cuts to a Sony, like crappy Sony camcorder with a little record in the bottom corner. As Bon Jovi's main character, Derek Bliss, I fucking hate his name. I hate that so much. Jack Crow was a fun name and a fun character in the first movie. Derek Bliss just sounds like a wrestler who shouldn't be fighting vampires. It sounds like I should be hearing that name as he walks out to an arena. I'm sorry.
Or he's a douchebag prep. Or he's a douchebag prep.
Yes.
Which, you know.
Either way. So that it's like him on a camcorder for whatever reason. He's just filming Mexico City. He uses it later, but it doesn't make sense why he's doing it here, because he doesn't do this the whole rest of the movie. The opening to this movie is just problematic. But anyway, there's a random guy, and he asks a working woman, we'll put it all nicely here, in Mexico, about how much does it cost for the night. She tries arguing with him, and then he pulls a switchblade and razor, and he's like, basically it's like, I'm gonna cut you, you're gonna give me what I want, and not for that price. And I'm like, alright, this is a way to open a movie, I guess. Is this a character? No, it's not. As she gets saved by Derek Bliss, who walks up with a pistol that has a stake at the end of it. It's not something we saw in any of the first movie. They do have some weapons that we saw in the first movie later, but this specifically, what the hell is this pistol? In my mind,
but see, I can excuse it. I can excuse that because different vampire hunters would have different types of weapons they prefer or whatever.
Sure.
Of course, the funny thing is that later in the movie, when you
Just
think he'd be
looks
using it, he's not. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
It should. For some reason, when he's holding it, it just looks so goofy. I was like, that just looks really dumb. I'm sorry, Mr. Wallace, but that stake pistol thing just looks so fucking goofy, man.
And John Bon Jovi can't exactly look tough, okay? I mean,
No.
at least
So
back
it turns
then.
out. So it turns out this working woman is a vampire. Oh no! But it's okay because Derek Bliss shoots her right through the mouth, and then he stakes her in the heart. And the guy who is there, very understandably, freaks the hell out and runs away. Derek then decapitates her and takes her. Well, he takes her body to a different place. Also, she shrivels up and turns black, and I went, That's new. I don't recall.
There were a couple of new things they did in this movie that made you kind of go, what?
It's not a good effect, but also that's not a thing they did in the first movie. You had to take them into sunlight. They didn't just shrivel up to a really black, I don't know, corpse. It was a choice.
The only thing I'm thinking is maybe they were trying to show how old she really was, which they have done in previous Dracula movies when he gets staked and he turns to dust because he's centuries old.
Maybe.
But I don't know because
I
they
don't
don't
know
explain it, and
No, they
and
don't.
we only see it one other time in the movie at the end, and
That's my other issue with it is this is a choice made about when they die if they're not in sunlight that they don't continue to do. So it's why? So yeah, he which my note, it was literally, why is she getting a shriveled up body? Why is there not the fun body bursting into flames? What the hell is it? Because the sun's not out? What is this? But then my answer got I was answered immediately because he takes her to I don't know, some riverbank, whatever the hell, and he cuts her head off. And then he pulls out the camcorder and apparently just records her bursting into flames as the sun rises. And I went, I guess I get why you'd have the camcorder there. Not sure why you were just filming random Mexico City with no intent of, I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is the group he was working for, and we know who this is from the first movie. He was basically giving them a what's it called? A shot a setup shot. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm gonna go do whatever I'm doing.
So this is the thing. This is where the next scene literally is where this movie says, do you remember anything about the first movie? The order, the church? Throw all that away. We're not acknowledging any of that. Instead, there's apparently just multiple vampire hunter groups. Because as he gets back to his base, his apartment, whatever the hell this is, he opens up a laptop and confirms his kill by uploading the video to show that it's dead. And he gets a little message that says, great, here's your payment. On the screen, it tells you that this is the, quote, the Van Helsing group. And I went, I don't think that was the name of the thing in the first movie. I'm sitting here and I'm like, they just worked for the church. Were they called the Van Helsing? I don't think they were. Is this just a different hunter group?
No, but we know there were multiple groups working with the church from the first movie. That it was not just that one group in the church. There were multiple areas.
There are multiple groups, but not.
And remember, after the first movie, the church, the first movie that they had issues with the church. Remember, in the first movie, they had some serious issues with the church.
So he gets new orders, and they tell him it's an anonymous person who's put in that they need help. They mentioned that a group of hunters had some trouble like a couple months ago, and they need help. And I went, is that a reference to the first movie? And then I went, if it's a reference to the first movie, that doesn't even make any fucking sense, because we know that they killed everyone in the first one. So, like, what the hell are they referencing this is a throwaway of, like, what the hell is this
no,
referencing?
no, you misremember. Remember, Billy Baldwin got away with his little...
Yeah, Billy and he let Billy and his girl go, but at the end of the movie, he had killed the master, and then it's Jack Crow and Adam finish up killing all the vampires in town. And I'm gonna assume they did that by the other scene that comes up later, but they also don't fucking acknowledge anything.
No, but they did, according to what I read, and you may have missed it in the IMDb, he did mention the previous priest, that's who he was looking for, because that was their original goal, was to have him come back and do this movie.
See, that's the thing. I thought that when I read IMDb, but the scene itself, the person who is buried is not the fucking person that they say that is, because after watching the first vampire movies more recently, I know the person that is buried in that grave, and that is not the fucking priest that was the one
but there were 4 years between movies.
That they say, and I'm like,
yeah.
IMDb, I just want to tell you, you're saying that that's the priest who betrayed them, and that they're whatever, like, that's not who that character is. It's the young guy.
Or at least that was the intent. That's,
It's somebody fucked up real bad. There are things.
No shit.
We'll get into this.
We had to make sure you were human. My name's Derek Bliss. I'm here looking for Father Adam Guito. Look, you have nothing to fear from me. I know he's hiding here, and I know how to keep a secret. Have I found him? When?
Last month.
How?
How is not important.
How is very important to me right now.
You're a hunter, aren't you?
Yes.
Then you know the life.
So Derek leaves. He's told he has to go meet up at a church, and that they have a whole thing that they want him to do. He needs a group of people. He can't do it himself, and that's the deal. It's a whole thing, which is super stupid because they don't actually fucking do that until later. Apparently it wasn't that big of an issue. Don't understand why that's a line. So this is where Derek arrives at this little church, and he talks with everyone, and he goes, he's looking for the cross, the special cross that was in the first movie. And he goes, I was sent here, I was told there was a priest who brought this here, and I need to speak to him because it's important to my mission that I have to go hunt these vampires. And I was going, okay, so are we gonna get like a reference to the first movie? Boy, I audibly went, lame, as it was an off-screen death of a character that should have probably been used.
Yeah.
As he talks to the priest tells him, yes, he came, and he hid the cross, and then takes him outside, and it just cuts to the grave. Adam Goudier, which that character was the priest who was helping Jack Crow at the end of the movie clear everything out. Now, do you think they mention Jack? Do they mention... Nope. No idea where he is. He just doesn't fucking exist. It's only Adam. For whatever fucking reason, he brought the cross to this place and then died. They don't say how he died. They don't say why he died. He just fucking died a month ago. And I went... What is this? You killed him off screen? You killed a good character off screen for what? Because you need the cross? No! This is stupid! Where's Jack? Do we have mention of the other hunter he was with or any? Nope, no mention of that. What happened to Billy and that girl he ran with? No fucking idea. We're never going to get any mention of this. In fact, the movie will end the exact same fucking way without acknowledging the first movie, but we'll get to that. So no, this pissed me off, because they killed him off screen, and it's a throwaway line that I literally had to rewind, because they just snap your fingers and you'd completely miss that this is fucking the only reference, other than the cross, that's like truly about the first movie. Frustrating. frustrating as shit. For me, it was frustrating as shit. So then he goes to dinner. This is where the movie forgets about any of the rules or any of the lore that the first movie had. Because as Derek sips his wine, he gets, as I have in my notes, question mark, vampire visions? And I even noted, making up new rules, because first movie explained that you only get vampire visions if you're bitten by the master and you get a psychic link. They don't just psychic link randomly. He has no connection to any of this. What is this movie? Which, there's another thing that comes up later that tries to explain why they're tied, and I went, no, that still makes no sense to what we established in the first movie. Only the other character does. This one does fucking not. So there's that. That's all your opening in this movie, because then now we cut over to Arlie Yover's character as Luna, who is a new master vampire for this movie, because gotta have one apparently. But this is just it's a random villager who's just at a campfire, and then he hears some noises, and then he sees some people, and then we get this whole long drawn out thing of him turning his head and the people disappearing. And then suddenly Luna's next to him, and she like pulls out his tongue and then bites. I was so confused why she was doing what she was doing.
She was playing with her food. Yeah,
apparently. But yeah, she murders this guy. They murdered, I don't know, like a village, I guess. If I sound confused, it's because this movie doesn't try to make sense with these little things where, like, you get a scene like this and then it really doesn't even fucking matter later, and it's like, why this scene? Why any of this stuff if we're just gonna...
No, we even did a weird animated splash of blood thing to the lens thing, which was just stupid. It almost looked like it was almost trying to be camp at that point. It's like, no, don't do that. Please don't do that.
So that happens. Then we get a quick cutaway. Well, right before the quick cutaway, we see that she's letting all her little fledglings feed on this random dude they murdered. And then we cut to the next morning. Like, that scene never happened, which is why I go, why even have this scene? Because we're not going to acknowledge that poor bastard ever again. And it just cuts straight to the next day, the priest telling Derek, here's a list of all the people you need to find. I would go with you, but I'm not really a hunter anymore. I'm more a man of faith now, so good luck on that. But that's the list of all these people you need to find. And he heads out. And boy, oh boy, everyone on the list is apparently dead. And you're led to believe, and I assume, that the random dude they killed was another person on that list, that they just didn't show the scene of Derek finding his body. Because the first person he goes to is dead, and then it just cuts to him showing up back in, like, Mexico, or not Mexico City, but, like, another town, and just calling his person and being like, hey, the first 3 people are dead. I don't know what's going on, but everyone I'm supposed to talk to is dead. And I go, so was that random dude another one of these hunters he was supposed to get? Or they just didn't really acknowledge what was going on? Is this the line to explain it? Because the movie's not going to explain it, so I guess that's what was going on. So he pulls into this town. He meets up with a couple of the townspeople, and this is where you meet Diego Luna as Sancho, a young teenager who tells him there's a group of miscreant people who are in the church, and they're scaring people and hurting people, and they don't know what to do. Maybe he could help. And
Wait. I want to talk about this show. Okay, so
go for it.
he parks his car, which has a surfboard of all things, by the way.
I don't get
And apparently he opens up the surfboard, and if you've ever seen a real surfboard, they're not that thick. They're definitely not
thick enough for
thick
this.
enough to have
Nope.
to have this total armory inside this surfboard. And as Diego Luna's character, Sancho, which is a very stereotypical type of Mexican name for back then,
Every
apparently.
person in the movie.
Watches him pull out all these weapons, put a sword on his back, pull out a dagger, put together this big gigantic spear and all kinds of other goofy shit, and doesn't flinch.
hard.
Does not flinch. Says, "Hey, you're going to need help in there." What the hell? Seriously? Yeah. I want to kill people too. Okay, good. Yeah.
Much to Paul's point here, they mention later there's a line later in this movie that makes all of this make no sense. Because vampire hunters aren't a thing. They're not a thing that people know. There's a line later
Right.
where they mention about that. So the fact that Sancho's like, yeah, I'll help you with, I don't know, deadly dude who's trying to be Blade, but also is not Blade.
Well, also
I'll
the
help you
issue of
murder
later in the
people.
movie that they do a killing and a beheading in front of a bunch of people and nobody flinches.
Oh yes, I have many notes every time something like this happens. So
Even the police here are like, whatever, silly gringo. You know what?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Derek gives Sancho he gives him like one of the steak, like I don't know how to like.
It's the big
pole
spear
arm
thing
kinda
that he put together. It was, it was,
Yeah.
it was
we
a
know from the first movie,
multi-piece, big, gigantic, yeah.
So they go into the church, Derek and Sancho, and they find a vampire who is napping underneath a little table. And Derek tells him, do everything I tell you exactly. Don't run away. Stay behind me. Blah, blah, blah. They rope this vampire by the feet, and they drag her out into the sunlight that's coming through the window. And then I finally get what I wanted, which was a vampire bursting into flames. And I went, yeah, that's like the first movie. It's like a fun thing that the vampires in this universe just fucking explode to flames the minute they go in the sun. It's cool. But this movie's still not good. And then, stake through the heart, cut the head off. And then another vampire shows up, and Sancho stabs him. Wait.
No. Before that, there was the one that I have issue with.
Go ahead. Which one did you have the issue with?
The second kill. It cuts off the head, stuffs
That's
it in
what
a
I'm missing.
bag,
Yeah.
throws it at Sancho, says throw it in the light, and there was just a pool of light right there. One, that's a problem I have with, because he ran it outside and tossed it out.
Decals
Two,
on. There we go.
two, it's in a bag. Why the hell would it burst
Yes.
into flame if it's in a bag? Okay, it
Yeah.
wouldn't. No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
The
make
whole
any
idea that
sense
they
here.
can remain covered and they're not going to burst into flame. We know that. That's set from the previous movie,
See, that's a fun thing. Is later in this movie, this movie seems to forget that vampires can't go in the sun, because there's some scenes that come up later where I'm like, I don't think.
No, she was at at least one of them was a
that's gonna work.
daywalker. That bitch was a daywalker. Okay.
There is a character in this movie that is technically a daywalker, and it's a whole plot line of this that I have a little bit of an issue with. But specifically, there are some scenes that are way later in this movie with Luna, the master vampire,
Right.
where she kind of can walk in sunlight for a little bit at one point, but then makes the comment she can't. But then as I'm watching, I'm like, you're just walking through sun rays right now, though, and the movie's just kind of pretending that's not what you're doing.
No, to be fair
That's
though, didn't she?
problematic.
But see, I thought they made clear that she actually got a hold of some of the meds that the other one was
Oh,
using.
well, we'll get
Yeah.
to it because they're
Yeah,
after
that's a
that
whole
she
nother
makes
issue,
some
yeah.
comments that I'm like, there's issues in this whole scene, this whole sequence here. But yeah, so there's a final vampire. Sancho stakes it, and he like pushes him out into the courtyard to set on fire, and then they do away with him. And instead of freaking the hell out at what's going on, Sancho's just like, I want to help you kill vampires. I like doing this. And the only good decision Derek makes throughout the entire movie is telling him, how old are you? And he goes, 16? Yeah, no, come see me in a couple years if you still feel that way. You're way too young. And I went, that might be the only good decision you make of the entire movie, is telling this teen, don't do that. Go home. Because past that, you make really bad decisions.
In real life, Sancho would have went like, I just shaved your fucking ass, man.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me tossing the spear, you would be vampire lunch right now, okay?
True. So yeah, Derek gives him some money, tells him he's too young. Derek leaves. Derek calls base. This movie. He calls back to base, and he brings up, I think the vampires are psychically linking with me. And I had to pause the movie here and rub my eyes and just be like, were you bitten? No? Then that makes no sense. By the lore we establish in the first movie, that's not a thing they do unless you are purposely bitten, and then you would have that issue. But this movie says, nah, vampires just psychically link with whoever the hell they feel like, whenever the hell they feel like. And I was like, that's not the lore. That makes me so mad, because that's a tiny detail that you shouldn't be messing up. Ah! Anyway, so that happens. It's a throwaway thing as he's driving back. He heads into a cafe, and this is where we meet Zoe, who's played by Natasha Wagner. And she makes just the weirdest comment thing, because they're talking about like what he does, whatever, and she makes the comment about, are you dead or undead? And he's like, that's a weird thing to ask me. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So he does, and he pulls out a thermal scope and just starts scanning around the diner and notices that she's cold as a corpse. And he's like, yeah, no, that's a vampire. I guess I'm gonna have to deal with that. But first, let me take a piss and wash my hands for a really long time. Long enough.
It was slow-mo. It was slow-mo. That was a stylistic choice. They were trying to display how fast that the action actually happens.
Well, I'm fully aware they do slow motion when he's done washing his hands, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, so you know there's a vampire in the diner that could possibly kill everyone here, but you're just gonna say, fuck it, go use the bathroom, wash your hands.
By the way, I have issue with that, by the way, but I'll bring that up when they do the next part where they use the thermal thing, because I have issues. Okay, because
I could imagine. So yeah, he does that. As he's washing his hands, he goes to throw the paper towel, and we get slow motion, and then Luna appears with her fledglings, and they murder everybody in this diner in slow motion. And we get this tiny little thing. We see a cut on Zoe's neck, and Natasha comes up and sniffs it and licks it, and then it cuts away. They don't show you what actually happened with this until later. In a throwaway. You should have just had it in this scene and not done that. But anyway, she goes in the back and she takes a fry cook. For whatever reason, she just takes this fry cook. I assume there's supposed to be some link of that he was a hunter or something, but they don't explain that. They don't explain any of that. She just takes a fry cook out of anyone in here. And they take off.
Well, because they didn't Bon Jovi, didn't he say something to the cook? So there was some kind of connection. So
I think so. This movie has a really bad time of explaining what the hell it's doing. But yeah, so Derek comes out of the bathroom, gun in hand, and everybody's dead. And he goes, "Oh." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, should you have not taken time to go use the bathroom before you came out to kill?" Do you see why you should have just handled it when you saw it and not been like, I could wait 5 minutes? No, it can't, because everyone's dead now. Everyone's dead now. It's your fault. It's your fault, Derek. Everyone's dead.
You assumed that Derek would have been able to stop her.
He wouldn't have, but still. Yeah, so he takes off. I also have the note. I just wanted to say real quick. Personally, as someone who likes this color, I like Luna's eyes. Just because they're purple, so it just adds a more unique flair for a female master vampire. Because in the first movie, the master vampire's eyes are just kind of white, just like a pure white kind of thing. Her having like a purple eye color, it's just it's a unique choice for that,
Yeah.
and I really love the color of it. It makes her character.
I think they just
pop a bit
I
more.
think they just wanted her to pop a little bit when she was on screen.
It just, again, I would let this woman bite me. I'd have no problem with it. She could have taken me. Yeah, so Derek sees all that and takes off and notices the vampires also took off. So he's just like, all right. As he's driving, middle of the day, he runs into Zoe and rightfully questions why she's out in broad daylight and not bursting into flames. This is where we get a plot of this movie that just makes absolutely no sense in the context of this movie's universe at all. Because they do some other things too. But Zoe explains that she was with a boyfriend who she thought was getting a little too kinky, and he bit her on the neck, and she thought, that's weird, and then she got away, and she didn't know if she had some kind of disease, so she went to a doctor in Mexico City, and they gave her a drug, some random drug that holds off the virus. She goes, he'd examined my blood, and it wasn't HIV, it wasn't hepatitis, he couldn't figure out what it was, but it was some kind of virus, and he gave me these pills, and it seems to hold off whatever this virus is, so I can walk in the daylight, and sometimes I get that craving for blood, but I can hold it off because it's not overwhelming. And then she also brings up...
she also brings up that she gets bitchy in the sunlight.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, she PMSs when she's on these meds.
Really
Go
how
back
the
and
movie
listen to the way she
explains it.
described it.
Yeah.
It sounds tacky, but that's basically what she says. It really is.
This is where this movie fucking loses me, because it's adding this stupid new lore. She goes, I've been having visions of you. Yeah, and apparently she's had visions of everything we've seen in the movies so far, and she's also she's also getting visions of Luna. But again, it makes no sense because Luna's not the one who bit her. So why there's this connection of her with visions that also somehow are Derek's as well, who isn't bitten at all?
By the way, this bit would have worked better if when she saw Luna with her cadre of other vampires, she goes, Bobby, is that you? You son of a bitch. Yeah.
That would make more sense. But they didn't do that.
Because then we would have seen the line of secession there going on, you know?
And so Zoe brings up that the newest vision she's had is a church and everybody's dead or dying. And Derek realizes, my church, the church I was just at, not any other church, because it's not like she tells him anyway.
You know,
Race is back.
it's like there's churches all over old Mexico. Oh, wait,
Yes.
there are. Never mind.
So Derek races back to the church with Zoe, and surprise, surprise, everyone's dead. This is straight out of the first movie, when the Master Vampire showed up to the monastery to kill everyone for the Black Cross, because he needed it for his ritual. Yes, the cross has an actual name. It has a long name. I didn't write it down, because I had to do that multiple times for the first movie, and I just didn't want to do that again. So it's a fancy cross. Somehow Luna found out the cross was there, which will kind of get explained later in the most bullshit plot sense they could have possibly done. But anyway, she murders everybody, she stole the cross, and she's off to do the ritual from the first movie where they sacrifice someone with a priest, and it gives them the ability to walk in the daylight. Fun fact, spoiler for this movie, because it's from the first movie, the ritual itself requires that the person on the cross be a hunter, and the priest be someone very specific that can make the ritual work. Something that they don't explain to you again in this movie, but characters keep saying that they know things about the ritual that they don't. It's like, could somebody just fucking tell anybody? Because I feel like if people had a better idea how it works.
I think the person she was going to sacrifice did tell her that, I'm not, this isn't going to work. I'm not the right person, You can kill me, but it's not going to help you. And she was like, okay, we're going to kill him anyway. Yeah.
There is towards the very end, when a character does a thing and ends up in the ritual, gives her that spiel, and it's like, you could have just told other people what it was. I feel like everybody would have been better to know the information, to know how to stop her, but hey, whatever, my guy. So anyway, we find out there's only one survivor, who in the credits he's listed as Father Rodrigo, which doesn't make sense because he will say later he's not actually a priest. So I don't know why he's credited as Father Rodrigo in the casting, because he's not a father? He's not a priest. Regardless. He was the wine pourer earlier in the scene where he's at dinner, and he's the new Adam. They killed Adam going into this, so they just give us a kind of a new Adam, where he's like, I know how the church works. I know how all this is. Oh, also, by the way, here's my minibus that's a custom hunting, transport with all the weapons you need. And I went, Derek probably could have used all of that before he left earlier, or hey, when the vampires were murdering everybody, maybe all of that could have been really helpful. But apparently no one went to this bus when the vampires showed up, and they just let themselves get murdered. And there's so many problems with that.
Isn't this also when he rediscovers Sancho?
Yes.
Yes.
Because in this is when this is where they tell him, Father Adam brought the cross here and he left it. At some point after the first movie, again, they don't really explain a timeline to make sense. But anyway, he brought the cross here and left it. Luna found out it was here, came, slaughtered everyone, took it. And then Derek goes, hey, hold on a minute. Walks around the corner, and there's Sancho just in a tree, spying on him. And he's like, how did you find me? He's like, I've been following you since you left the town. I really want to be involved with this.
Well, no, my favorite part is how'd you get here? Motorcycle, and he points 3 feet to the left.
Yeah.
Dirt bike. And it was a Honda. You would have heard that thing a mile away.
Oh, yeah, no,
he wasn't sneaking around.
Yeah, no, you're not sneaking on a dirt bike. So this is where They get the short bus, they get all of it. Zoe says she's going to help them, and Derek's all like, I don't really want you helping me, because, like, you could turn into a vampire at any point, and then I'm gonna have to kill you. I don't need to deal with my back while also my front. What's wrong with you? And she's like, I have the medicine, so I am not a vampire, and I can help you. Also, I'm getting the visions of where Luna is, so you kind of need me anyway. So, deal with it. This fucking thing. She tells him, you can ask for help, whatever, but you have to be fucking polite. And she walks away, and then Bon Jovi looks back and he goes, and they're talking, and it's like, so is she gonna help us? He goes, well, I guess if we're fucking polite. And I went, fuck are these lines? What are these lines in this movie right now? This exchange is so odd. They take Sancho, which, by the way, Sancho gives him a letter that his mother wrote. That Sancho has.
I love that
really
letter, though. That letter was
school.
awesome. That letter was awesome.
He's done really good in school. He hasn't flunked any classes. I give him permission to go hunting with you. And I'm like, I don't think he told his mom what's actually happening. I think in his mother's mind, it would just be like, oh, hunting, like go hunt deer or pigs. Go for it. Like, not vampires. Like, hey, Ma, I decapitated a bunch of people and they burst into flames. I'm gonna go do that.
It was probably signed Sancho's mother, so, you know.
Yeah, it's like 100% it was just him who wrote it. No, my note here as they take off is that Derek has no faith in his team, because he's like, I have a non-priest who doesn't really hunt, a person who's gonna become a vampire, and a teenager. Boy, we're off to a great start.
Now, is this I'm trying to remember if this is the point where he uses the thermal thing again to find some recently dead, or is that later?
That's later.
Because that's when that comes up, remind me, because that's where I have issue, and I'm going to point them out strongly.
The next thing we get is while they're driving off, he calls back to the base. This is where we get the fucking line where he goes, Mexico does not recognize vampire hunting as a profession, so you're gonna have to be careful when you're down there because law enforcement's not gonna help you. And I went, no fucking shit. No fucking shit. Nobody knows vampires are a thing. Like, even in the first movie, when they have a cop with them, even the cop is like, yeah, they're vampire hunters. Yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. But he tells them that they're gonna have Ray Collins come down, and he's a big black man from Alabama, and he's been hunting vampires a while. He's gonna hop down there and help you. And this is Darius McCary, and I went, This is a whole thing they're gonna do, huh? This is where they go to the bus stop. Derek gets out. Everyone else stays in the minibus and are spotting for him. And he pulls out his thermal and he scans the bus people. I don't know why he does this. Like, if you're waiting for someone very specific, there's no reason to use the thermal to spot them unless you somehow knew there were vampires, I guess. Also, we don't see him get off the bus, but he does get off the bus and hides until plot convenience that he reveals himself. For some reason, this is how they introduce Ray. But he spots a vampire, and he waits for this vampire to come walking towards him. And then it's a whole dialogue here of Derek trying to be cool guy and being like, yeah, man, I've been chasing that itch for a while, man. Sometimes it starts with the drugs, but then, man, that blood, man. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? What is this scene? What is this exchange? But the vampire catches on and tells him about how he can hear everyone's heartbeats, and it's overwhelming, and that he can hear his, and he lunges at him. In comes Ray Collins with chick chick bam, shotgun to the chest, and the vampire goes down for the count. And Ray steps out from the shadows that he was apparently just waiting and watching in and not helping at all. And he goes, and I've been waiting and hunting. I've been waiting the whole time on the bus for this son of a bitch. I've just been waiting to get him. His shotgun name is Miss Piggy, which is funny. I did find that funny. He has wood slugs. Paul, you said you didn't have. It was a slick shotgun kit.
Not the ammo. The rig he was using that hit it underneath his arm, underneath his.
Okay.
And then because then he could. It was a point and shoot. He didn't aim with it. It was basically pull it up, point it, and shoot it. And the way that rig is set up is actually a really sweet deal.
Okay. That
how fast he could pull it up. Now supposedly the slug it was either wood in melted metal or the other way around. Either way, it had wood, so it would pierce the chest or pierce the heart with the wood and kill the vampire, with the weight of the metal to carry the bullet, to carry the slug. So I can't understand the science behind it. I don't understand how it would work actually, realistically, just to develop it, just to carry it.
Kind of where I had the issue with it. And it was like, I get the sense of it.
Because either way, he would need to have a way to smelt it, because you have.
Yeah, they're just like he shows.
Either you're smelting it, you're smelting. I think the idea was you smelt it and you dip the wood in the hot metal, but still. As many as he had, where does he do this? Where's his base? Where does he actually have access to,
Yeah, apparently, I'm going to assume, apparently he can make this ammo pretty easily, because there's a scene later where he just wastes a bunch of ammo for absolutely no reason. Which I really want to put my thing is, the more you think about, the manufacture of it would be a pain in the ass, It very much so. So that happens. An entire crowd of people gather around and are like, what the hell? As they decapitate and stab the heart of this fucking vampire and just throw him in the dumpster. And you have a crowd of people that are like...
Again, I have issue with that. You'll notice that even though they separated his head, they threw the head and the body in the same dumpster. That does not go with what they did in the first movie, where they purposely separated the head and the body from at great distances in some case.
Let me, you know what? I'm going to quote Jack Crow from the first movie. A rule for killing vampires. You stake the heart, you burn the body, you bury the heads as far away from the body as you possibly can. Because, quote, they can come back if they have the head near them. So you have to make sure that it's buried far away after the body is burned and staked.
They didn't even throw in the next dumpster. They threw in the same dumpster, okay?
Yes! Again, as somebody who enjoys the first movie, they break every fucking rule that was established.
And you would think somebody in that crowd's going to go, hey, somebody needs to call the police because they just beheaded a guy and put his body in the dumpster and left.
Nope. Everybody just points and goes, what are those guys doing? And then they watch them drive away, and that's it. And I went, I had the same thought of, like, shouldn't cops be called? Like, you're watching a man get brutally murdered. I don't know, maybe Mexico's different. I don't know. I've never been. But it's weird. Zoe here, as they're driving away, we cut to the next morning. And Zoe gets a flash again. She's getting another psychic vision. That Luna's trying the ceremony. And she's got, the apparent Hunter Frycook on the cross. And she cuts his leg, and she drinks the blood, and the priest does does the words and incantation, and then they burn the hunter, which my note was plot from first movie, but it fails. And the priest that she has laughs to himself a little bit because he knew it was going to fail, and she tries to stick her hand in the sunlight, and it burns. And she kills the priest because she's like, you didn't do what I needed you to, you're worthless. And she tells them, and they're like, did it work? And she goes, no, she's still hurt by the sunlight. And they're like, oh, thank God. This is where Father Rodrigo, whatever, like, he's sitting there and he just makes his own comment about, like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. And it's, everybody's like, what do you know that you're not telling us? And it's just, well, some things are just best kept to myself. And I went, no, everyone needs to know what's going on, because then you know how to stop it.
I will say that's true to the first movie, though. That was the whole problem with the whole situation, was they especially the church people, they kept their own little secrets. It was a whole lot of you, this is need to know, and you don't fucking need to know. You know.
It's what led to the main priest kind of betraying everybody. So I kind of need to be on the same page. So he withholds the important information of why it failed. Zoe points on the map. This is where Luna is. So they head out to that location, which is like a monastery temple thing in the middle of nowhere. They also reveal that this is also where they reveal that Luna didn't like the taste of Zoe's blood at the diner, because they bring up that if she's getting the visions, that she could betray them, and she goes, well, I'm not one of hers. And again, a throwaway thing you could have just included when we were at the diner is just the same exact scene of her getting licked on the neck, except they show you that Zoe's repulsed by her blood, and she doesn't know why. She assumes it's the medicine, that she doesn't like that. Which doesn't make sense for the thing that comes up later, so I don't know why this was added in here. They pull over, and they're going to camp for the night, because night's coming in, and they're not going to make it to where they're going, so like, we'll just camp here. This is where Ray says he's going to sleep outside, and they're like, you don't want to do that, like, you're gonna get got. But this is where he pulls out the shotgun and he goes, nah, nobody gets past Miss Piggy and me. And he just fires like 5 rounds into nothingness to, I don't know, prove that he has a good shotgun. Just wasting your ammo for absolutely no reason. Apparently it's easy to make that ammo, because he just goes for it here.
Excuse me, boss, but ain't no way I'm sleeping in this thing.
How you get used to it?
Boss, I was in the Navy, and even on a ship, you got more room than that. I get nervous in tight spaces. If I wasn't getting any sleep at all, I might wake up in the middle of the night and shoot somebody.
You don't want to face a vampire at night, at least to follow master.
All due respect, preacher man, but you ain't been working with Miss Piggy. Now, granted, it may take 1, 2, maybe even 3 rounds. But when the big girl speaks, even the coldest of the cold have to listen. No exceptions. Believe me, little brother, them slugs never lie.
Luna arrives that night. She creeps on the crew. She starts looking around, and then she notices Zoe. She tries getting Zoe to open the door to the RV so she can kill everyone. It's like I assume by what the movie's doing here, she's trying to influence Zoe to do something.
Right.
Zoe doesn't. She goes back to bed. But Luna notices the meds next to her and pieces 2 and 2 together that's the thing that she tasted on her, and this is why she's able to walk in sunlight. She's like, that's what I need to figure out how to get that. Fucking Ray.
By the way, that little bottle was not 3 months worth of meds. I'm just saying.
No, it's not. With how much she has to take, because she says she takes, what is it,
two once a day.
Yeah.
There's no way there were 90 days or even close to that worth of meds in that bottle that they used.
Yeah,
Nope,
no, yeah,
nope,
yeah.
nope.
It's
As somebody who's on
once a day,
medication,
sleep.
yeah, as somebody who's on medication, I'm telling you, there's no way in hell
Yeah, no,
with the size of the pills we saw.
definitely not. So here, Ray's sleeping outside on just like a little chair, foldable chair that he has a sleeping bag on, and he has a fire next to him. I have an issue with this. Luna just completely changes outfits and looks. She goes from short hair and like gray robes until she wakes Ray up, and suddenly she has long hair and black robes. And I went, when have the vampires in the first movie alone, when were they ever able to just change their entire appearance at the drop of a hat? That's not a thing. This scene doesn't fit because she only looks like that for this scene, and then she's back to
unless they didn't explain that she glamored him in some way.
Yeah,
to
again,
make herself more. But they don't explain it. But
nope.
Yeah. Oh, it must be the next morning. Here's where my issue comes in.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
We have to talk about this real quick, because it's not just that she seduces Ray. He gets got by the once bitten plot, where she gives him a BJ, bites him, and turns him. And I went, we're just taking once bitten's plot, aren't we? We're just taking a plot from a different movie for the scene. Continue.
Anyway, so after Ray'd been got, which,
so dumb.
They wake up the next morning, and I wasn't paying attention enough to know why they decide they're going to scan the area and see if there's any corpses in there or any vampires in the area.
Yeah, okay, so you missed an entire... Okay. So...
Yeah, it wasn't hard to do with this movie to kind of phase out. I was in the middle of stuff.
Yeah, so there's an entire scene. It's the fledglings. They don't show Luna's there. They don't show that till later, and I have issues with that too. But her fledglings walk into some random bar, murder the people that are in it, and drink their blood. And the next day, when they're driving through the town, Ray goes, "Hey, why don't we stop and get some drinks?" By the way, Ray doesn't tell anyone that he's bitten, which is such a dumb fucking thing that, again, they don't explain
but wait,
what's
remember,
going
this
on.
is from the first movie as well. Remember, Billy did the same thing. Almost for the same reason, too.
It's just bad in this movie. So they pull over to this bar, and they notice all the dead bodies. This is where Sancho pulls out the thermal and he scans for fucking grave sites, which I also had a problem with, because that's not how that would work.
Let me tell you, when they're scanning and it drops to below 30, I'm like, that's not how corpses work. That's because they also did the same thing when he scanned her initially. It did the same shit. Like, okay, if it's a dead person, a vampire, basically they're going to be room temperature, or whatever the ambient temperature is in the area. You're not going to be scanning the ground and it's 67, 32. No, that's not how that works.
See, that's the issue I had. Is just it's like you're telling me the dirt also changed temperature, because it's just my own brain. I'm like, I don't think the thermal's gonna detect 6 feet down or even 3 feet down.
No,
it's
not
give you,
not from that distance. Not from that
surface.
distance, especially. Not from that distance, especially.
Makes
but
no sense.
But even when he's scanning the bar with her sitting in it, and you've got all the heat standing out, she wouldn't show up as blue as that cold. She would just show up as a gray area being the ambient room temperature, whatever the 76 degrees, 72 to whatever the ambient, that's what she would be. And we know this from not even a vampire movie, Return of the Living Dead, with the two guys and the medics are going in there. What's my temperature? 73.5. That's not right.
Yep.
But what's that? Room temperature. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Yeah, the thermal use in this is just like I get what you're trying to do. It just logically does not make sense.
Right, you could have made sense to at that point, but you're right.
Could have
standing there like a half mile from the gravesite, going, "Hey, there's a cold spot." What the hell?
There's two cold spots right over there. Like, nope, no, it's not.
If that was the case, they'd be picking up every lizard and snake in the desert. Okay,
correct. So yeah, they go up to the grave resting. They kill those vampires off. But
which apparently didn't have to be fully out in the sun to start bursting into flame.
I have another note here in a couple seconds where I'm just like, I don't think that's how that's gonna work. Ray sabotages them, which doesn't become. I'm sorry. They try to make it seem like it's not obvious, but you know that he was bitten the night before, so it's like. The things that happened, you're like, no, he did it. Like, clearly he did it. Because, like, he was bitten and turned. So, like, all this shit, you're trying to make it like, who did it? Did this happen? It's like, no, he did it. But, no,
also,
he did
a lesson we learned from the first movie: do not fully count on your police system to work when you need it to. I'm just saying that. Saw this one coming a mile away. As soon as they were using a police system again, sucker's gonna fail at the key time because it did in the first movie. That's just the rules.
Yeah. So they change a tire and they get back on the road. They revealed that Zoe's drugs were left behind, and somehow no one noticed this orange pill bottle sitting outside on the little thing next to them. Somebody should have seen that, but whatever.
I don't even have I don't really have a problem with nobody else noticing her pill bottle missing, but as dependent as she is on these pills to stay not vampire-y, you would think that she would know where those damn things were every second of the day.
You would think. Also have an issue here. I have a note and an issue. As they leave, Luna comes up out of the dirt to grab the pills, and I have the note here. It's not sunset yet, and I know this because the immediate scene after is when they're further on and they're going into the actual town. Sunset is now setting in, so the scene right before that, Luna's just coming up out of the dirt into the sun and goes, pills! And I'm like, I don't care if you're gonna tell me there's a shadow from the building. She's in the fucking sun. She's not going to come out of the dirt until the sun goes down. This is a dumb little scene here that, number one, she was apparently buried herself under where the RV was, and nobody noticed that grave, but they noticed the other ones. Yeah. Also, she just comes out of the dirt to get the pills when they're not even out of eyesight. So they should have, by all means,
also, if she buried herself, I mean, there's no way she buried herself in that gravel quietly. You know, that somebody wouldn't have woke up. You know, the person sleeping outside, he's not a really crappy at guard duty if he was, you know, I mean, I'm sorry. You know, at that point, you deserve to die, okay? You know?
RVs are heavy as shit. If they had driven over it, they would have crushed Luna. Because RVs are not small vehicles. So how she was able to stay buried and not get crushed by the RV in some way is also a little bit of a problem.
Well, I mean, the fact that she would have basically, even to do it, she would have had to bury herself between the axles. And there's no way, one, she's a human body, and displaced dirt has to go somewhere. Okay, I mean, there's a whole lot of
there's
with this
a
whole.
lot of issues. A lot of issues.
Where
So
did
they
this
arrive
mound of
at
dirt come
the,
from at the back of the RV? Oh,
I don't know what's going on with that. Weird. So they arrive at like the monastery that they were going to, and they're like, okay, cool, this is where Luna is. Let's go check out the town though. Let's go recon what's going on. They get into town, and the first person they meet is an old man who gives us an exposition dump about Luna that is, in my opinion, a little unneeded, but whatever. He goes, oh, finally, you've come to the town to help get rid of the darkness we've been battling. And here on the Day of the Dead, you have come to save us.
and it happens to be Deus Los Muertos. Hey, who thunk?
Yeah. Title of movie becomes a thing now. So they sit down and they're talking with the local man.
I don't remember seeing a bunch of people walking around in skeleton masks and stuff. Because if you've ever seen the Day of the Dead stuff out of Mexico, it should have been a full-on festival. Okay, if they were
100%.
celebrating that, it would have been
100%. So the local, they start
Costuming
talking
couldn't
with him.
afford that. They couldn't afford that apparently. We'll fake it.
That's too much to do a whole parade. Jesus. The local guy, he tells him there's a strange family that had come into their town many years ago, and Luna was like their daughter or some shit. And strange things kept happening in the town with their cattle and their herds and people going missing. And they kind of blamed this family for many years. And Luna, from how he's kind of explaining it, is that Luna came from this and has been searching for whatever and has been terrorizing this town by just taking like a person a night. And he goes, recently our priest went missing and our church was burned down. It's a real bad time in our town. And we've had this omen that you would come to help us. So are you here to help us? Of course they are. This is where Zoe discovers that her pills have been taken. She didn't notice this at any point before this. And they go to a doctor, and they're trying to figure out, can I get more? They're too far from Mexico City. They can't have it shipped. They can't drive back in time. They're not going to be able to get anything. It's super dumb. And they just talk about, like, we have antibiotics, blah, blah, blah. Now we cut over to Luna takes all the pills out and breaks them open, and she snorts them up. And she can now walk in the daylight, and she's real happy. And she decides to go out on a walk on the town. You know, walking on sunshine, she is. The townspeople know who Luna is, as they explain, just right before all this. But she walks through the town and nobody bats an eye. Nobody sees her and goes, huh, that kind of looks like that demon chick that we've been telling people to kill. Weird. She has bright purple eyes. That's not normal. No one pays any attention until she gets close to the team and then pounces on their table and breaks it and kicks everyone's ass and steals Zoe and runs away.
which in itself was a very weird sequence. But yeah, but now as far as the town
really
members
is.
not recognizing her, I could understand that. They wouldn't expect you to see her
Maybe.
during the daylight.
Maybe,
you know,
but like the
It would be
pale
out of place. Go,
purple
yeah,
eyes,
it looks
man.
like her, but she's not usually out during the day because apparently, by legend says she can't be out during the day. But here, so I mean that's the only thing I could think is you're
It's
trying
the
to
only thing
put
that you
real
could.
world situation into that if you're not used to seeing something, if you're thinking they can't do a thing, and all of a sudden they're doing a thing, you know, that can't be them, you know.
So Luna steals Zoe. Team races off to the old temple monastery. They're gonna try to save Zoe. That's like their top priorities. We need to save Zoe because then we can kill Luna at the same time. But Derek tells everybody, like, hey, just so you're aware, he could turn her, like, she could turn her even more, or she just hasn't had pills, so she could turn. Probably gonna have to put her down, but we're gonna try to save her if we can, guys. But just be prepared. And they're getting all ready. They're getting all set up. These are some scenes I have an issue with. As Luna carries Zoe through the tunnels underneath this monastery, whatever, there are rays of sun, which she took the pills so she could be in the sunlight. But they make sure to show you when she gets back there, it's starting to wear off and she's feeling weak. These tunnels have rays of sun everywhere. And she wakes up Zoe and tells Zoe, point blank, the pills worked, but they wear off really fast. Implying that she's out of time to be in the sun. But this entire bit of scene here, there's literally a doorway that Luna's just in that has sunlight that she's standing in. It's not lighting. It's not some kind of torch. It's straight up sunlight that she's talking about. She's out of time and it hurts now, but she still apparently has no issue just standing in it while she talks to Zoe. And I went, make up your mind, movie. Did the pills wear off or have they not worn off?
I think I can excuse that and say, well, maybe it was they were wearing off. She could feel the effects were fading, but still hurt. But she, you know, she had not hurt enough to dive out of the fucking way. But you know,
it just
because at
one
some
of those
point,
choices, man.
because realistically, she wouldn't know how long it's gonna. You know, okay, they're starting to wear off. Okay, do I have 5 minutes? Do I have 5 seconds? You know, she wouldn't know. You know.
The drug wears off quickly, but it works.
It would take a little bit of testing, you know. It would take a.
So the team is out front. They're getting ready. But Derek pieces everything together and he pulls his gun and he points it at the rest of the team and he goes, I know one of you betrayed us and told Luna where we were, and you also gave her those pills because it's the only thing that makes sense that she was able to do anything she's been doing. So which one of you is a traitor? Is it you, Padre? And it's like, no, it's not me. He goes, is it you, Sancho? Please tell me it's not you, kid. I put a lot of faith in you. He goes, no, man, it's not me. Oh, well, maybe it's the new guy who I've never worked with before. Don't really trust you that well. But then he goes back to Sancho and gets Sancho just like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Like, no, fuck you. And it forces Ray's hand, and Ray reveals himself to be the betrayer, and he goes to pull his gun. And then immediately gets shot in the back by a random arrow, because apparently the villager made his way here and was like, I'm gonna help. But nobody saw me walking up or heard me, just so I could shoot your friend through the chest with this arrow real quick.
What do you say, kid? She get to you? No disgrace. She's a very powerful woman. Could happen to any one of us. Come on, kid, get it off your chest. Admit it, you know you did it. Son of a bitch. Tell me the truth. Come on, admit it. Fuck you, man. Come on, talk to me. Fuck you. Talk to me. Fuck you! Talk to me!
then you may be saying to yourself, okay, well, that's kind of bad for, like, how did he get there so quickly? And you'd be correct. It gets worse, folks, because then Ray reveals that Luna was the one who set up the contract. Luna was the one who's been getting everyone together. Luna has been just the orchestrator of the whole thing. And you're saying, why would she do that? Is it to kill all the hunters? No, actually, it's for an even dumber reason that doesn't make sense. She wants to do the ritual and walk into sunlight, and got everyone here so she could do this, so that she could reveal the hunters to the public. For what?
Well,
What?
there's
To
also
say,
the fact
hey,
that
we're vampires. These people kill us. I mean, yeah, we kill you, but look at, they're murderers. It's like that. What is her logic? What?
well, the other issue is, how did Mr. Got Bit in the Dick get all this information? Because he was just bit the day before. How would he all this? It's like what through blood transfusion, all this is downloaded into his brain? No, that's not how that works.
Movie's not going to explain it either. Who knows? He just knows. So they kill Ray. They're kind of sad about it. But they move
For
on
about
real
2
quick.
seconds.
Yeah, yeah, they move on real quick. Oh, we get some more of. This is where we get more Zoe and Luna talking about the pills. Why do they work? She wants more. How does she get more? And she uses, as I have in my notes, and take this how you will, she gets random lesbian powers because she just kind of starts to seduce Zoe and then goes, just kidding, push.
Yeah, we had, that was the Tommy Lee Wallace going, hey, we got 2 chicks on the scene. We need to make them kiss. We don't know why, but we're going to...
Probably. So Zoe gets pushed into a pit and just left there. I assume she's being used as bait, but Luna's also implying that she wants to use her blood to find a way to walk in sunlight, so it's... I don't know, I feel like if you pushed her in the pit, you could have killed her, and then you'd just be kind of out of what you were using her for, but hey, to each their own. So the crew heads in. They start heading down into these tunnels. They have a cable on a winch. My issue at first, because something that they don't show you till later, was they're bringing the cable down and it's on the spear, whatever there. I didn't know they had a remote control for the winch because the movie does not show that that's a thing till later in this ending. So in my mind, I'm like, cool, you're bringing the winch down to bring them into sunlight. Who's in the bus to run the winch though? You're all going in the tunnel. Who's going to run the winch though? My next note was immediately.
If you think about how shit like that works, one, they pulled the rope around corners for one, and two, the distance was pretty far.
Yeah, that was literally my next note is, how long is this fucking cable? They just keep
Well, not only that, how far can you be with this remote control, shooting around,
Exactly.
aiming around corners and stuff to get the signal to bounce in correctly?
It doesn't make sense.
Have you ever used RF remote control in your life? Apparently not.
Doesn't work like that. But they find Zoe because Zoe calls out for help. So they're like, "Hey, we found her. She sounds fine. She sounds like she just needs help, but she's not turned. Whatever. Let's
and
get
not
her."
one of them screamed, "Oh, this could be a trap," with her yelling for help like that. Of course.
Yeah, not a single person thinks of that. And it's just, how have you all survived this long hunting vampires? My God.
Hey, to be fair, Shanto's only been doing it for like 3 days, so
he's the only one I guess we can give a pass on.
Before that, he was selling tchotchkes to the tourists in Tijuana. So
So yeah, it's a trap, obviously, and Luna jumps on everyone. She beats the hell out of every single person in here. She's just straight beats the old man with the arrow, because like he shoots an arrow from his bow.
I
and
didn't
she catches
get that. She could
doesn't
have like
kill anyone.
She could have sliced him and diced him, and no, she beats him like she's angry that he burned dinner or something.
She takes the spear from Sancho and just smacks him across the room. She could have killed him, but she doesn't.
No. Like a wrestling match, she beats him like it's a kendo stick, baby. It's it's like, really, what are we doing?
Yeah, she catches the arrow headed for her heart, jumps at the old man, and then just starts whipping him with it. And I'm like, just stab him with it, you crazy bitch! Just so I can kill him with it. Why are you beating the man with the thing? Good God. That's not how arrows work.
You find out that are they related? I mean,
yeah, did he abuse you? What's going on?
Yeah, did you know him in your previous life? Is this what the hell? Because it really made no sense. There was no reason for it.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. She doesn't kill anyone. She just kind of beats.
I mean, why didn't she just do the master thing where she slices him in half and then done?
Exactly. And
by the way, we didn't get any of those really cool kill effects at all in this movie, by the way, which I take issue with.
No, they didn't do any of the fun stuff. So at this point, she ends up pouncing on Derek, and she's about to kill him. Then Rodrigo goes, "Hey, I offer myself. Let my friends go. I'll do the ritual for you."
Which again, okay, I have issue with this too. She's about to kill him. Oh, hey.
Oh, I was waiting for her to
really
do it anyway.
She stops dead. I'm like, really? I would have been like, hey. But
you're a bad vampire. But he tells her, "Hey, I'm a priest and a hunter. You need that for the ritual. Take me. Let them go." And she does that. For whatever reason, she does. I assume it's because she thinks she can walk in sunlight, so she'll just go kill him again anyway. But that happens, and everyone leaves to the hospital they were at before, and they're getting everybody looked at for their bruises and their cuts and whatnot. This. This whole part of this movie, Derek comes in to kill Zoe because he knows she's about to turn. She hasn't had her pills in days. The nurse stops her. This is the only time anyone speaks Spanish in this movie, and Sancho has to translate. Whatever. But he explains that she's the daughter of whatever, and they're going to help her. I don't understand that part fully, but whatever, they're going to help her. These people apparently know a way to cure being a vampire. Doesn't make any sense. Because we see there's a whole line of people outside, and we find that what they're doing is they're transfusing all the blood in Zoe's body out and giving her the regular people blood so that she won't be a vampire. And I went,
that's not how viruses
work.
works.
Yes, that's not how any of that works. This should not work.
There is such a thing. There is such a thing, from understanding, as you can do a full blood transfusion. One, it takes a long time. Two, it only fixes certain things for a short period of time because your body's still going to produce whatever issues your body's going to.
Fun fact, that's what we find out at the end of this movie, is all of that was for absolutely nothing. And we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, so this is a thing. They apparently have like a cure, which it just does what the pills did, but for a longer amount of time, and it's just so stupid. But Derek comes up with, they can't sneak up on Luna and go save anyone because Luna can hear their heartbeats, so she'll know they're coming. So he infects himself with Zoe's vampire blood to become a vampire himself, which is not a thing any hunter would do because of the rules. That's not a thing you would do. This plot point I don't understand, because it doesn't even help them in the overall aspect either. So he did this for no reason. They go back. We find that the ritual has begun, but it again doesn't work. And Rodrigo tells her, "You fool! I'm not a priest. I only helped at the church. I'm not actually a priest, so this was all for nothing. And also, by the way, you need like a Roman Catholic top priest to do it. Not just any old priest will do. So you're stupid, and this was for nothing." And she goes, "All right, well, you get to burn then." It's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, kill the janitor.
Happen?
Okay, well, yeah.
And I even had in the notes here as they're like trying to sneak up on her, what the fuck is this finale? It's like, what is this? Also, the cross in this movie is not the same exact cross from the first movie.
Not even close. Wasn't even
Not
like the
even
same
close.
size.
No, it's like a tiny cross, where the other one is huge.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah, this one apparently fit
crucified
in a
on it.
closet. This one apparently fit in a closet. I noticed that when they were showing the flashback of the priest hiding it. It's like, that's not the original.
Yeah, because fun fact for everyone, like the first movie, the cross that they have has a very long stake on the backside of it, and it's a very large cross. And again, it is because the first ever
large enough
vampire
to be crucified on. Okay, just large enough to be crucified on, to give you an
That's
idea.
the whole point. So this tiny little thing is not that cross.
You're out of luck, vampire. You assemble every element, except one. You forgot to bring a priest. You can kill me, but it won't help you. I'm a hired hand. I work at the monastery, fixing cars and cutting grass. I'm an imposter, vampire. I saw what you did to the Brotherhood, how you destroyed every one of my friends. I pick up their clothing, put it on, and I vowed I would find you.
If that is the truth, you have failed to hurt me. If it's a lie, you have failed to help yourself.
Unless you're crucifying a munchkin or something.
Maybe. Yeah, so that happens, and then everyone arrives, and they spring into action as she sets the fire, and they free Rodrigo, and they give him a gun, and they're like, "Help us fight back, help us kill the vampire."
I have a problem with. I don't know if you noticed when he freed Rodrigo. You know, this thing wasn't tied down tight. It was basically looped around like a spindle. Yep. Okay. I mean, he didn't have to untie shit. He just had to okay, good, we're done.
And I just want to say, with Ray dead, he's reincarnated in a galaxy far away, on a planet called Cybertron, and that is why he's Jazz. Much like another character is about to be here as well. Yeah, so they spring into action, they start fighting. Derek tells everyone else to go away because she can hear your heartbeat and you need to get away, I'll handle it. And he calls out Luna and they start fighting face to face. They stab her and they try to winch her, but much to Paul's very good point earlier about there's corners and things you're wrapping this cable through. As the winch gets stuck because cable's now stuck in a crack on a corner in a thing that they wrapped it through and around, and it can't.
Yeah, and the winch had shown previously that it had issues. Remember, it was stalling before too when it had a straight shot, but now you're gonna like run it through a corn maze and hope it works. That's.
So of course the winch jams and the cable snaps. Luna takes off. They all head back outside, and they rig up a new rope and wire system, and they're still going to use the same winch for whatever reason, but they take it off and put it on a car. So the other thing I noticed is it was on the bus, but it gets put on the car because the car is what they use for the act, like the ending, and I went, I feel like I blinked and missed when they put this on a different vehicle.
Right. And there's all kinds of issues with that as well,
Oh yes.
If you ever understood how a winch is attached to a truck or whatever, it's not just a slap it on the bumper and go. It's like
it is in this movie. So for the ending here, they get Luna cornered down in the whatever, and there's like an opening up above them. Zoe takes the car winch and drives it up above the hole, and they put the wire down.
Yeah, logically this part makes sense. Logically this part starts to that part. And
this is the only
we're gonna need the way to get out of here. So I think they can use the winch to pull themselves out as well.
So while Luna's fighting Derek, Sancho lassos up Luna, and they start winching. But of course, the winch that already had issues jams again. Because why wouldn't it do that? I don't know why you thought it wouldn't do that. Because I guess
it wasn't a very big winch, and at that point it was trying to pull up Luna and him.
Yep.
So that's a lot of weight, for that little itty. This was not a big winch. This was a baby winch. This was.
So Luna is holding on to Derek. She's not letting him go. So they throw him Miss Piggy, and he shoots her head off, and she gets dragged out through the hole as Zoe sends the car flying off the roof. And it drags Luna into the sun, and she bursts into flames, and you're like, okay, she's dead. They go out of their way till they get back up top, and Derek goes, oh, gotta finish it, and stakes her burnt, beating heart. And that's the end of Luna.
Maybe because she was the master.
Terrible
I
way
don't
to
know.
go.
That's the only thing I could think is because she was the master.
I had the same thought. I was, I was like, apparently
also,
masters can survive.
The only thing they were missing with that car bit was the sound of the General Lee's horn as the car jumped over the edge.
I agree. So
I mean, I'm tempted to do that clip and add that little sound bite in there.
That's how this whole that's how this whole final battle ends. It's not very entertaining, especially compared to the first one, where there's like the whole drawn out stuff that went on. This one was just more cut dry and not very fun. But the movie actually ends. They give a cut to they're back in the town, and Derek he's turning into a vampire. Zoe brings up that even the transfusion was only temporary, and she's also gonna just eventually turn again anyway. And Rodrigo and Derek talk, and he goes, so what now? And he tells him, we've hid the cross again, but I'm not going to tell you because this movie decided to say that vampires can just telepathically link at any time, so it's best if they don't know where that is. So I'm not going to tell you anything, especially if you become a vampire. I don't want you to know where that is. Also, if you turn, well, they're probably going to have to hunt you down. Maybe. It's not like the first movie, where Jack tells Billy straight up, you helped me for 48 hours, you have that much time before I hunt you down and kill you, because that's the rules. If your partner's turned, you put him down. I owe you some time, and that's all you get. This movie doesn't do that. Because this movie goes, yeah, we're going to go to Mexico City and get those pills and go live a better life. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Kill them. Kill them. By rules of this world, they must die. They are not allowed to walk away.
Plus, it's hard to keep a secret from a vampire.
Where is it?
Where is what?
You know what? The cross. I went back for it.
That's a secret I can't share with you right now. Maybe when we meet again.
You know, if the medicine doesn't work...
If it doesn't work, you will change. You will try to survive and everything will be different. I'll pray for good medicine. Take care.
Given what we've seen him do, Sancho should have walked up and stabbed him in the back, you know?
And that's the end of this movie. Literally, they drive off and talk about, well, I guess we should take our time and blah, 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 blah. We're going to go get the medicine.
Maybe stop on the way, have a bite. Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's it. But that's the end of this movie. That is Vampires Los Muertos. It's a terrible sequel. Such a bad sequel to a movie that precedes... The movie that precedes it did so much better. And it's disappointing.
And again, the only thing that Wallace did after this was he did The Fields, where he had a bit part in Harrison's movie. After that, he was like, I'm done.
This movie has many issues. Many issues with it. There's also just like to know that it was like a John Carpenter, essentially his protege, that somehow messed up a sequel to his own movie. Like, I don't understand how he did it. Like, he should have been more on top of how this movie should go. It's disappointing.
No, I think when they start doing the John Carpenter presents, he's strictly a producer. He really isn't having any creative control.
Fair.
And
see, that's the thing though. Another little fact for you all. The first movie is called John Carpenter's Vampires. This is not. This loses that first part of the title, and it's just Vampires Los Muertos. So you actually have no fucking idea that it's a sequel to a movie before it, because it does not acknowledge the full title. So there's another little fun little tidbit there, which tells me I don't think John signed off on this one. So that's, that might be problematic too. But anyway,
let me see. See if he shows up as a producer in some form.
Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't do that. I should have done that. I didn't look to see who he was. But it doesn't have his name on it, so it's like, did they purposely not do that?
It's possible, yeah.
But it's if it wasn't that, it would have been just a forgettable B movie. But it is that, so it's even worse than that. Go watch the first one. Just watch the first one. Don't ever watch this. I'm never going to watch it again myself. It was only.
I just checked, by the way. Yes, John Carpenter show up as an executive producer.
Oh. So anyway, go check out the first one. Don't ever watch this. Don't the rules of that we always go over. They're always changing, because horror, in general, depending on what movie, what genre you're in, those rules are probably going to change. But don't dump chemicals in the sewer. Don't bring things back from the dead. Don't accept random sexual favors from a random woman you meet in the desert.
Yeah.
Don't betray the puppets. Don't prank your friends as a serial killer. Don't ask a witch for revenge. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. There's some things in there you should probably know, but hey, life's an experience. So if you're in the situation, just figure out what the rules are and go from there. But until next time. Actually, you can follow us. You go ahead and follow us. We're on @OddcastN on Twitter, Oddcast Network, YouTube. You can find my good friend over here @CerebralPaul1 over on the Twitter if you want. If you
don't want, do it anyway. Okay.
Yeah, just do it anyway. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay happy, and leave a comment if you have differing opinions. Bye.